rehearsals are never really the same thing as
it's a live broadcast, man. You never know. Your cell phone might ring. You might have to talk to your mom. Be like, Mom.
If my cell phone rings, I have to pick up. I'm sorry.
Mom, I'm on the air right now. I can't talk. Are you supposed to call your sister for her birthday? No, I called her. I talked to her for like an hour. You don't have to call your sister. I had this conversation yesterday. I called my sister, man. I called her like twice.
He didn't pick up? He looks and he's like, oh, it's my older brother.
Yeah, what the heck with this guy?
Of course, MorroW is our Swedish Zerg spawning on the right top side of Whirlwind. And Archer is our Korean Protoss spawning in the right bottom side, representing Team Slayers. MorroW is still teamless.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. Yeah. Somebody as accomplished and as strong of a player as MorroW is that he hasn't been able to find a team yet, Kev. And you know, speaking to the strength of MorroW and speaking to the, I guess, shroud of mystery surrounding Arthur, if you had to pick a winner here, who would you predict to take it?
It's tough, Ben, certainly because Archer qualified and he took out Dark, a player that actually qualified from one of our next qualifiers, but Archer took him out 3-0. Now that's a Korean MorroW pulling all of his drones, but he's not going to be able to pick off this probe, so he lost quite a bit of mining time. I was about to say MorroW, Ben, now I say Archer.
It's a tough call to make, man.
I still believe in Stefan. Sorry to interrupt you right there. I'm going to go with Stefan. I don't know all that much from Archer. From what I've heard, he has to be pretty impressive. But I don't know. I've always liked MorroW's ZVP. And he's also currently living in the Ministry of Wind, the Polish gaming house, which is well, a hot topic these days. But let's not talk about that.
It definitely is, man. If I had to pick a winner, Kev, and you know what I do, I'm actually going to go with Arthur, not because I don't believe in MorroW. I think he's a great player, one of the best Zergs outside of Korea, period. But because when I was reading about Arthur, I found out that he's damn good in this matchup, over 60% PvZ win rate, and he's won his last 6 consecutive Protoss vs. Zerg games. So this guy is on a hot streak right now.
Always nice to have that mental advantage going on, having a little bit of momentum, carrying yourself into this next game. MorroW pulled drones twice now, Ben, to try to kill that probe, and he didn't do it. And the second time, I really even felt that Archer baited him. He's like, hey man, it's like a low HP probe, only 5 hits, but of course you can only get 4 hits, unless you pull them first and then you pull the second wave as well. In any case, so far, you have to feel good about the opening phase of this game if you are Archer.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there, Kev. He's got a nice economic opening here. He's gone Nexus Forge Gateway.
Just a quick guess, by the way, for MorroW. That's much quicker than I'm used to from him. I kind of wonder. But yeah, it's nice to see MorroW in that Ministry of Wind gaming house. I really love it. I love to see more of MorroW. It's the second, well, he was been in Korea as well, so I guess there he lived in a pro gaming house too. But it's the second European pro gaming house that he's part of, as he was also part back then of the Swedish pro gaming house, which unfortunately didn't last very long, but he was there.
Now this is an interesting opening from MorroW, Kev, and I wonder what he's planning with this gas. If you look at the ramp, Arthur's ramp, we'll notice this neutral supply depot. And I am really wondering how in the heck Arthur would wall off against something like Baneling play with that neutral depot sitting right where it is. So that's maybe something that we have to think about. We can see that MorroW isn't in fact going to be committing to Baneling play though, as he just mines enough gas for Zergling speed and then sends those drones down to his natural. Or where are these drones going?
They're going all the way to the
to the third base,
which is sort of his natural. Now his original natural was blocked by the pylon. So once more, all of these drones traveling a little bit longer. It's going to take longer for them to mine. Overall, it's a really an excellent start for Archer. And I'm gonna have to say, Ben, I kind of like his position so far. MorroW's gonna have speed very quick. So if Archer decides to throw out any kind of funky 2-base play, MorroW should be able to see it coming way in time and should also be able to deal with it, or at least prepare himself a little bit better.
Really nice probe scout here by Arthur over into the natural of MorroW. Manages to slide past the Queen, confirms that the third base is there. Unfortunately, he won't be making it up into the main base as the Queen now has that little probe cornered.
Queen release. Takes the probe out. Unfair fight, man.
Pretty good, man. More DPS than a Stalker, according to Frodan. Is that actually true?
I can imagine that's true, man.
That can't be true.
Why not?
No way, man.
9, yeah, it's true. It's true, man. Wait until the first Stalker is out, then I will do the map on stream. Even though I know I shouldn't do it, it's just so tempting, man.
I'm looking forward to that.
We see the robotics facilities on the map, and first the mortars are in production. So is +1, 13 more drones for MorroW right now. But he really needs those drones as well, as it really took quite a while before those injects Actually, before he was able to spend all that lava, so just now MorroW's drone count is starting to look healthy. There is still no additional Roach Warren.
Yeah, MorroW might be wanting to play some sort of Zergling-centric style.
Yeah.
He's known to do that kind of a thing. But, Kev, given the fact that he's going up to lair with no Evo chambers and he's adding all these gases, I think he wants to play... Okay, there's double Evo. Now I'm almost certain that it's going to be a Zergling style. Zergling Infestor, maybe Zergling Infestor Baneling, but still, Spire plays not impossible from this position. 11 more drones. Man, MorroW really wants to get that economy going.
And he really knows that Archer is still on 2 bases. And he didn't even bother to sacrifice an Overlord, but I guess he just has really a lot of faith in figuring or realizing what is going on.
Man.
That it is the Immortal push. We have 7 gates. That's so many. This one little hero Zergling saw quite a bit. He's going to see the sentries. Not sure if he saw those Immortals. That was not final.
It's going to be 8-gate Immortal. Man. Very scary push. Warp Prism is on the way. Spire does go down for MorroW, so it is in fact Muta. This can work if it comes out in time. I'm just not sure that it will.
He's going to need a lot of Zerglings on the map, so I think that he needs to sort of have a run-by happen or something like that, or at least bait a lot of force fields early on, because if Archer just runs across the map right now, he does have the full wall of over here as well with the double pylon. I don't think those mutas are ever going to be out in time, and even if they are, yes, MorroW is going to be able to make quite a few mutas, but it's not going to be an absolute insane amount, and with 8 gates you will be able to warp in plenty of Stalkers. This looks kind of bad for MorroW.
Oh gosh, 8 gates of warping is so much, and Arthur just making his way right through the center of the map. MorroW's Spire is about 75% complete right now. He's got a decent amount of gas. I mean, on paper, what he wants to do is send mutas to the main base and make it impossible for Arthur to continue producing units, but I just feel like the Spire's a little too late, Kev.
Feel so as well. He's going to warp in more Zealots right now. That's going to work out at least a little bit. Unless MorroW actually wants to use these links to fight. For a second I thought he wanted to use them to counter. He's going to try to pick up the Warp Prism with the Mutas. I can only imagine that's the case as he's picking off all those pylons. But still, MorroW is in so much trouble.
Yeah, huge trouble. Nice force field's going to go down and trap all those drones. And MorroW, what are you going to do? It is 8 mutas in production. Interestingly, he hasn't built any spine crawlers, which is another thing that you really want to do when you're playing muta against this kind of a style. Just choosing to skip that and maybe making Banelings instead. Third base is dead. The Baneling nest is going to be allowed to survive? No, he's going to send some Zealots back and deal with that. Where are those mutas? Are they out yet? Now they're just now starting to spawn. So, ooh, this is I just don't see it happening, man. This is just an impossible defense. Look how big this army is from Arthur.
Yeah, it's 13 Stalkers, 10 Sentries, still 7 Zealots as well. Zerglings coming in from each and every direction right now. The mutas flying in as well. A couple of Banelings trying to connect. But sick force fields by our Korean Protoss player.
Yeah, great force fields. Perfect place to fight right there on that ramp. Keeps the Banelings from connecting, keeps the Lings from coming in from behind him. And obviously MorroW does not have an answer for this armor, this army. His natural completely forfeit. More nice force fields going down. And Arthur with a very powerful 2-base push. I mean, we've seen this many times before, but that is as well executed as it gets. Will take game number 1.
Couldn't agree more with you, Ben, as well executed as it gets, but I still have to question MorroW's responses to everything. He had pretty good map vision, had Overlords in good position, but never decided to sacrifice that one Overlord. You're a Zerg player yourself, Ben. How do you look at that?
You have to check. You have to know what's coming. The only reason that I can really think of that MorroW wouldn't do that is because he just felt it. He just felt like, okay, he's going to do this Immortal push or some kind of 2-base push that is inside of my sort of range of things that I'm able to deal with. That being said, he didn't prepare properly. Right? There was no spine crawlers. There was no real attempt at a counterattack. And the Spire was so very late. I'm actually very eager to see what Andre and Dan have to say and what their take is on the game.
You know, that was a really tricky game, I think. MorroW committed to a pretty early Zergling 1-1. I mean, when you get that evolution chamber, or double evolution chamber, it's very difficult to actually switch over to roaches. Your Spire Tech is a long way away. At that 10-minute point, you really can't get drop or anything like that. So the trick of it is to delay until you get something of power to deal with that push. Overall, it's really hard to do that. I think the majority of the time you need roaches in that army composition because there's just too much stuff for only Zerglings to deal with. You just don't have enough concave. I think that was, I wouldn't say a build order counter, but one of the best build orders to go up against Zergling only.
Yeah, and I agree a lot with what Ryden was saying, where you need to buy time, and MorroW could have tried to see if he can go for a run by. But more specifically, I also liked how when Arthur scouts a lot of Lings and he knows this is the kind of composition he's going for, he goes for 8 gates total, which you can't really support that kind of economy. And a lot of people question, some people other do it, like Huck, who will be playing later tonight, also does this. And you get the availability of Warpins in case you need it back at home because of these run bys, because of things that try to buy time. And so Arthur was prepared for both cases. Does he need to stall back home? But no, he can keep pushing forward.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the 8 gateways, it gives you the ability to just say, hey, I don't have to warp in so soon, right? Normally it's the cycle and it's like, boom, I have to go right now. No, I can actually calm down a little bit. If I need to chrono boost, I can chrono boost, put down all those units, and it gives Arthur the ability to actually make the best decisions with his warp, and that's what gave him the big win in that game.
Thanks a lot, guys, for that take on the game. Of course, game number 1, MorroW versus Arthur, was brought to you guys by Kingston HyperX. You can check out their full line of solid-state drives and RAM over at kingston.com. We're going to play a very short commercial, and then we're going to be back with game 2, MorroW versus Arthur. Don't go anywhere.